Hey, it's me again, the guy from that channel who goes through an identity crisis every 4 seconds and so he can't stick to a specific style of content on YouTube. Today it's vlogging for the 3rd time. So over the past couple months, I, like many of you, have realized that they've forgotten what it means to be human, and I don't think I noticed that I should actually confront that until I came to the realization that I own 2 Bass Pro Shops games. Lately, in my quarantine-fueled boredom, I've been falling back on some old childhood fantasies that I could never really fulfill as a kid, but now that I'm an adult who earns money in better times, I can. More specifically, I'm talking about that one dream that I think we all had as a kid. I'm talking about the dream of having a dedicated game room. The room is very small, as you can tell. The plan originally was going to be that I do a parody of like those big game room tours. It's funny because it's really small and I've got like nothing in my collection compared to the big collectors, but I decided to just play it straight because I don't have the energy to write up a thing where I have to actually be funny. This isn't going to be a funny series. Now, in this series, we're going to talk about collecting video games, what my personal collecting habits are, what my short-term and long-term goals are, and what I already have in my collection. I was always definitely something of a hoarder with my games. Like, I never gave away my copy of Smarty Pants for the Wii by EA, trivia game, despite only playing it with my family like twice. But as a kid, I never really worked aggressively toward that long-term goal of a game room with shelves and shelves of games. I only bought the games I wanted to, and I threw away my cases, which leads to a bit of backstory on how I got into collecting. That's right, there's a backstory here. Most people just start buying things and never give them away. That's only 99% of my story. So that copy of Smarty Pants, I gave away the case. But I have a copy right here. I have 2 copies of Smarty Pants. I decided at some point that I would start buying all the games that I threw the cases away for so that I could display on the shelf the games that I owned. So I own a couple duplicates now. I own a duplicate of Smarty Pants. I own a duplicate of... That was a DS that just fell on the floor. I own a duplicate of Star Wars The Force Unleashed. I bought just the case for my copy of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. I spent like $15 total on this. It was $7 plus shipping, but closer to $10. But I bought just the case for this. But yeah, I've started rebuying the games that I currently own just for the purpose of displaying them on the shelf. So that's already insane enough. I need to not just pull things off the shelf for the purpose of showing them. My original plan was to print cases for all the games that I no longer had cases for. This copy of Pikmin is in a blank Wii case that I bought. I bought a lot of 25 Wii cases and printed the covers on photo paper. You'll notice there is no manual. This is not an official Wii case. It's basically just a DVD case that they put the Wii logo in. I don't know if you can see that. There's a site called thecoverproject.net that you can grab scans off of to print them and put them in your cases. And that's what I did. In the span of like a day. I bought photo paper to do this like 2 years ago and then ran out of ink in the printer after the first print and never did anything past that. I think I have a photo somewhere of my original cover of Pikmin 2. The reason I reprinted Pikmin 2 was I actually had the case for that, but the cover was torn out. And so I reprinted the case and I ran out of ink in doing so, and it's this ugly orange color. The only ink left was like a combination of magenta and yellow, I suppose. So that was my Pikmin 2 case for a couple years. But this website runs off of community scans, so people submit scans that they took of their covers. So if no one submits a scan, there's no scan. So, Smarty Pants, the first game that where is it? Because you need to see it again. Smarty Pants was the first game that I bought to get the case versus printing, because I eventually reached the point where I had a bunch of games left over that I could not print the cases for because no one had submitted them. A lot of them were very difficult, like Super Mario Galaxy. This looks pretty much indistinguishable from the real thing. The scan they have on there is like incredibly desaturated, and I had to pull this off of their forums. There's weird games that I would think are mainstream enough to have like full cases, full quality covers on there, and they didn't. I had to buy Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games because their scan of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games was super high contrast and gross looking. So yeah, buying games off eBay started as I need to replace my games that I already own so I can display them. So there's a bunch of games I have duplicates of now, and I will continue to do so until I have all of those. I still haven't reached that goal. I did a count on this. I have 10 more Wii games to case and 16 more GameCube games to case. Thankfully, I was smart and kept all my Wii U games, and the Switch I started buying after I had decided I wanted to keep all my cases, so I have all of those. So 26 games to case. It's not too terrible, I don't think. But still, that's 26 duplicates or empty cases that I have to buy. I actually have a couple empty cases coming in on Saturday that I'll show off in a later vlog. So that's what started me buying games on eBay, which eventually evolved into the rabbit hole of grabbing garbage just because it's cheap, or grabbing things that I've always wanted to own at hopefully lower prices because I'm already out buying games because I have money to spend now. So that kind of spiraled into actively collecting, but that doesn't quite explain yet why I really like owning shovelware all of a sudden. So I own a lot of shovelware now, and I did not buy most of it. My mother got a free lot, I'm pretty sure, from a friend on Facebook Marketplace or something like that. That she picked up because it had another Wii system. I own like 5 Wiis. It had another Wii system, but what we really wanted were the controllers. It had 5 Wii remotes, and we were low on Wii remotes, and it had a bunch of nunchucks, and it had way more than she got the lot for. No, almost none of it she actually intended to keep, and I said, no, we're keeping all of this. It had, I think, upwards of 20 games. Most of them are bad. Like, the vast majority of them are bad, and I'm pretty sure some of them are broken. But I kept all of them. Seeing that lot was basically what made me decide, I'm not selling any more games, ever again. I already hadn't sold games in, like, years. Since years ago, I sold a bunch of my DS games, including Animal Crossing Wild World, which I will not forgive 11-year-old Cam for. But I looked at that lot of shovelware and said, we're keeping these. I'm gonna go through and rip all of those off the shelf, and I'm gonna be real mad at myself at the end of this video. Here's all those games I got. That's a stack of 2, 4, 6, 8, 17 games. And some of them are not terrible. At least I don't think you'd call them shovelware, necessarily. Let's go through them alphabetically. Nope, I missed 2. Did I miss any more? Okay, we're good. Okay, actually looking at these, most of these don't look like total shovelware. They're things that you'd, I think, see on most other consoles, but just stuff I never thought I'd own. AMF Bowling World Lanes. Seems in decent condition. The manual is, like, hard. I don't know why. It's a ZeniMax game. So, they own Bethesda, that's something. Those aforementioned Bass Pro Shops games. The Hunt, which is, it's not fishing. And The Strike, which is fishing. I did notice a thing about this one. So this says The Strike. There are 2 editions of The Strike. There are The Strike and there are The Strike Tournament Edition. The disc is The Strike Tournament Edition, and it has a sleeve of The Strike Tournament Edition, which doesn't contain a game. So that tells me that I have only one version of this game, and I have to track down the actual The Strike, so I can put that in the disc spot and put Tournament Edition in the sleeve here. I don't know if these are actually 2 distinct games, but I'm pretty sure they are, and they're just incorrectly cased. So my insane collecting sensibilities are telling me to make this a complete accurate set, I will have to go out and voluntarily buy another Bass Pro Shops game. Call of Duty World at War for the Wii. I always laugh when I see COD games for Nintendo systems. It just seems really cursed to me and just weird. You play this with the Wii Zapper, which is, like, bizarre. Like, I can't see someone playing cross-platform, someone on PC versus someone using the Wii Zapper. I'm sure it didn't support cross-platform, but, like, Nintendo COD games exist. There's, like, COD Black Ops for the DS, and that just sounds awful to me. EA Playground, this one I'm actually really happy to own. I rented this from a store years and years ago. I think it was like 10, and I played through a lot of it. I haven't revisited it since grabbing it. I might do it in a stream or something, but like finding this in the hall was like, wow, I recognize this? And that's kind of awakened a thing in me that makes me want to track down all the Shovelware games that I rented as a kid and rebuy those just to relive them. Like there's this Clone Wars Republic Heroes, I think it's called, game that I want to buy, that I played one level of, and by all accounts it's terrible. It's available on PC. There's like, I think it's called All-Star Karate. There's this karate game I played to near completion and then sent back. There's a lot of things like those. I wrote out a list. As soon as I saw this, I was like, okay, I will track down all the Shovelware and I will repurchase it. I haven't bought any of it yet, but this one just fell into my lap and it kind of awakened that. Game Party by Midway. It's called Game Party, and that's all I know is that the title makes me laugh. What kind of a title is Game Party? Thank you, that tells me what's in here. Apparently there's darts, there's bowling, there's air hockey, and there's, what is that? Skee ball? It calls it skill ball or something. No, that is a hoop shooting game, like in an arcade. That's what that is. Skee ball's up here. I called it bowling. This is cursed. There is a Game Party 2 and 3, and I think there is a handheld Game Party, and it's not something I'm gonna go on eBay and buy intentionally, but if I find it in the wild for like $5, I will be grabbing anything in the Game Party series, solely because the title makes me laugh. Madden 07, it's probably fine. I mean, people like the Madden games, I just don't care about them. I think this one's missing a manual. Yeah, this is the one in my set that is missing a manual. Not in my whole set, but in the Shovelware set. Like, they were actually pretty good at keeping their sets complete. Not necessarily at keeping their games in good condition, but this doesn't have the manual. I imagine this probably got more use than most of the games, because it was decent. I haven't played it though. #1 selling pro football franchise. Mario Kart Wii, I have 2 of these now. No, I think I have 3. I'm pretty sure I have 2 on the shelf and then 1 in my case that I have yet to show off. Need for Speed Carbon. Again, I'm sure the Need for Speed series is like decent since it's such a long running racing series, but who names their game Carbon? E10 Plus, Violence. Rock Band and Rock Band Track Pack. Again, one of those like long running series that I just never played. So I'm sure these are fine. I did actually play Track Pack for a bit because it has Crush 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 by Paramore, and I love that song because I'm insane. So this big lot actually had the Rock Band drums. It had the Guitar Hero guitar, not the Rock Band guitar, which is unfortunate because it doesn't work with this, and there was no Guitar Hero in the set. But I just drummed out this song a bunch of times and failed miserably, and will probably never pick this up again, but it didn't seem terrible. I would honestly stream it if it weren't for the fact that it's exclusively like copyrighted music. It's one of those series that you can't stream. Ssx Blur. I don't know anything about this. It feels like it doesn't have a manual, but it does. It's just a very short one. And I assumed this was Shovelware. It's an EA game. I assumed it was Shovelware, and then I watched a Steven Vlog episode, I think, where they were talking about PS1 games, and one of them pointed out that like one of the big PS1 games was an SSX game. So, snowboarding? I don't know. For the most part, these are, again, like, I guess quality games, or at least quality series that I was just never exposed to. Speaking of which, the price is right. I do want to play this on stream or something eventually, because game show video games fascinate me. I don't own any, but they do fascinate me, and Wheel of Fortune is the big one that I like want to play on stream, but I don't own any of those. But I now own The Price is Right. I can't wait to learn prices from 2007. Tiger Woods PGA Tour 08. It was $3 at GameStop apparently. I guess the branding is all like Madden, so I assume it's the same like basic series in the EA Sports series. Did not know they made golf games. No reason to doubt it, but I didn't know they made golf games. I don't know if they're any good. No idea. Have never played this. Don't know if I'll ever play it. Apparently the mini putt mode is exclusive to the Wii. I guess because the motion controls are too precise for the other systems, maybe? I don't know. Okay, now we're getting into the shovelware. Transformers the game. Protect or destroy. Oh, you can choose Autobots or Decepticons. Deep moral choices. Ultimate board game collection. It is entirely like non-copyrighted board games. Just like, you know, things that anyone could make. So you've got checkers, you've got chess. I don't know what that first game is. Is that Mahjong? And that's Backgammon. You'll notice the branding is all Comic Sans. Like, this breathes shovelware, which means it's probably not too terrible that the disc looks like this. The manual is destroyed in the same way that that first game was, the bowling game. Like, it's hard. It's sticky. I can't open it. I don't know what happened here. I will replace this if I find this game in the wild, but it's not one of those I'm gonna go on eBay and be like, oh, I have to replace my copy of Ultimate Board Game Collection. Wii Play is just Wii Play. I got a duplicate in that haul. I already owned it, and I printed a case for it. So this is the printed one. This is the official one. Do you notice a difference? The official one has the ESRB logo cover text. The fact that someone bothered to make a custom design for the Wii Play case, which is almost identical to the original design, is really bizarre to me. I mean, I guess I appreciate the effort. I suppose the Find Me thing really bothered them that much. Or maybe there were two cases printed of it that I didn't know about, and I'm actually... These are both official covers? I don't know, but this one is an actual case. This is one I printed on my own. So getting Wii Play in the haul, even though I didn't think I wanted it, was actually a blessing, because now I have the official case. Wii Sports Resort, another I already owned, but didn't have the case for. So that's one I don't have to buy. And then finally, Wild Earth African Safari. Is the Wild Earth series like a thing, or is this shovelware? I have no way of knowing. You take photos of animals as you go on a safari. I assume you use the Wii remote to like do camera things. Anyway, that's all Wii games. So that big lot of shovelware for the Wii, whose library is mostly shovelware, is what kind of caused me to go deeper into collecting. It was a combination of already having to rebuy games anyway, and the fact that I just love owning stupid things like this. Even if I never play them, they all fell onto my laptop. Okay, I'm just gonna start making stacks, and I will fix that later. At least try and keep them alphabetical if possible. That set of shovelware alone made my visible Wii collection go from small to too large to fit in a single close-up picture. Whereas all my other collections, my NES, N64, DS, 3DS, GameCube, are all small enough, at least in their shelved varieties, looking at you, GameCube, to fit in a single picture. Wii is the only one that's not like that. Wii U and Switch are like that. Then there's my acquisition from just this week. The first shovelware game that I have gone out to buy on my own that wasn't just to provide a case for one I already had. Seen It, Twilight Edition. I hate that I own this, and I hate that I own this for two reasons. One, why did I buy it? I have no answer other than it was $1. Shipping was like $4, so I still can't even justify it based on that. But also, look at its spine. Do you notice something about its spine compared to everything else? Along with the Force Unleashed, which I bought to provide a case for. Do you notice something about these two spines? They're not white. They break up the flow of the shelf horribly. Look at this. Does that not make you angry? It probably doesn't, because you're a reasonable human being, but it makes me angry. I think all the Star Wars games had a yellow spine just to make them stand out. Maybe it was all the LucasArts games, I don't know. And then Seen It Twilight is like, we are just gonna make the whole like movie art extend all the way. Wouldn't be bad on any other system, but on Wii, all these white cases, come on. There was a design philosophy that every company was following. And then Konami here, because it's developed by Konami, said no, purple spine. But I own way more games than what is up here. Once I have my whole collection fully cased, it will not be able to fit on this shelf. I'm already like 20 games away from being able to fit everything on this shelf, and that's gonna fill up real fast. So most of the games in here do not have a corresponding case. Some of them are duplicates, but most of these do not have a corresponding case. Going out and buying games solely for their cases has also led me to a little problem of having lots of duplicates with no case that will go for nothing on eBay, so I'll just have to donate them or give them to people who want them. God, no, I have to be giving. The companion to that Clone Wars game I was talking about, Clone Wars Lightsaber Duels, different game from Clone Wars Republic Heroes. But yeah, I only have 10 games on the Wii that I need to case, so I have most of my Wii games on the shelf. That is not the case for GameCube. If you look at my shelf, I have 4 GameCube games. I don't have a lot of GameCube games, but I have more than 4 GameCube games. Okay, there's 17 in here, none of which have a case. I do have I have Pac-Man Versus and Pac-Man World 2, which I'm only mentioning because I have those games coming in from eBay on Saturday to case those, so I will have 5 games on the shelf because those were in a bundle. So I haven't verbally outlined all of it, but you've basically seen my collection now. There's like a couple, I don't have any gems or anything that I need to show off, no rarities. The closest I have to a rarity is Xenoblade Chronicles, which didn't go for like less than 60 when I bought it. It was just rare and saw, I think, relatively limited North American release. And then when they released it on the Wii U Virtual Console and it got 2 remakes, this dropped in price. This is like 20 now. So I can easily say this is bigger than like most casual gamers' collections. Like if a family has a Wii, they're not gonna own this many games for it. I have more than the average person, I think. But I'm not gonna say I have a good collection yet, just because so much of it is shovelware and because I have a couple goals that I'm going for, short-term and long-term. So the most immediate goal and the most immediately attainable goal is rebuying all the games I have that aren't cased, because that's the core thing that started this in the first place, is I want all of the games I own to be on a shelf unless they're digital releases. So whether I end up with duplicates or not, which I already have duplicates, I want all my games on the shelf so I can access all of them without having to go digging between either this or a big DVD case. I want them all up. That's the most immediate thing. Pretty much everything else is gonna be just I accumulate things naturally as I find good deals. There's not gonna be a lot of that right now, given that I can't exactly go outside right now. So it's pretty much entirely just gonna be buying off of eBay. I've got a couple lots, bought a couple things, but things are, slow. But once quarantine's over, I'm gonna start frequenting game stores, and if there's a game that I like that I've always wanted, then I will snag it. You would think that with a collection this big, I would at least have most of the games that I've always wanted to play but never got, but that's not really the case. I didn't get Sonic Colors until my mother got it in like a $20 eBay lot, along with Donkey Kong Country Returns, both of which are games that like for years I have wanted to play. Now I've played both of them on stream, but I just never bothered to get them. Now I make money, I can buy the games I want instead of waiting for allowance to come in or getting them as gifts, or just happening to get them in eBay lots. So if I have an immediate goal, it's I see a game I see a game that I recognize that I've always wanted to play, I will buy it. That'll probably cause me to fill out some series that I really like. There's only a couple series that I avidly want to own every game in. The top 3 are Mega Man, Zelda, and Mario Party. But otherwise it's just gonna be, hi, look, game, grab. As I see them in game stores or see them in good deals on eBay. I do have some long-term goals though. Long-term goals that are not immediately feasible, but that I will be slowly working toward. I don't know which system I'm gonna go for first yet, but I really want to own every game in a console's library at some point. That won't happen for years down the line, I'm sure, but it'd be really neat to own every N64 cart, or every GameCube game, or every Wii if you're insane and want everything in the 1200 game library. Honestly, the most feasible would probably be the Wii U. I'm pretty sure it's the smallest library out of everything on my shelf. There are like 160 games for it, and I own, I don't know how many, but like something like 8% of the library. But yeah, my more immediate goals are every mainline Mario Party from 1 to 10, which really sucks because most of them have held their value really well and are pretty much full price. I currently have 1 and 8 and 9 physically. That's it. If you want to count DS and Island Tour, go ahead. But out of 1 through 10, I only have 3 of them. That'll change. I want them. I also want the whole classic Mega Man series. I have 3 coming in the mail, which also sucks because 7 is like super rare or at least super valuable. It's like 170 right now. But yeah, honestly, the fact that I can even say I have a collection right now satisfies me. I definitely have goals to look forward to, and I'm not gonna say I'm happy with my collection. I'm happy I have one. That's the thing. I won't say I'm like fully happy or feel accomplished about anything yet until I have every game I own on a shelf. I will get there. It will happen, and I will update you when it does. So this is definitely gonna be an informal thing that's updated pretty much when I feel like it, and when I feel like it will be whenever I have any big developments in the collection, like any big gems coming in. With each new episode, I guess I'll tell you what games I have gotten since the last one. I will put a link down to my Backloggery account in the description to show you every game I own, and I have a spreadsheet that I'll also link to if you're curious, and I will update those as I collect new games. With each new episode, I'll tell you what new games I get, and as I reach my goals, I will let you know, or as I make progress in my goals, I will let you know. It's gonna be pretty informal, pretty irregular, but not infrequent, I don't think. I want this to be a regular presence on the channel, assuming people like it. This is a weird one to do an outro for. I didn't plan this. I will see you next time when I have more games. Say bye, Yoshi. Say bye.